price of oil starting in 2005, but then really again in 2008, started increasing. It drove a technological and economic redefinition of what oil is. Oil that's about 75 years that we've been producing globally flows under pressure right out of the ground. So the effort has been to tap it and then just put a tube in and then it flows out. Unconventional oil is a lot of different things. So there's not an easy compare and contrast from conventional. That's pretty homogeneous. Oils have differences worldwide, but they're all pretty much liquid and they all pretty much flow under pressure pretty easily once you tap them. And unconventional oils range from everything that is more like natural gas, very gas-like, to everything that's more like coal, more solid. There are a lot of questions, as you would expect, because you have brand new feedstocks. These I don't want to call them product because they're really precursors to the product. You've got these new unconventional oils. You've got new processes to deal with these new oils. And then the oils themselves are very heterogeneous, so they're all a function of where they are in the ground and what they're exposed to. And because no two rocks in the ground are alike, no two oils are alike. I'm calling them oils, but no two petroleum feedstocks are alike. And that then opens the door to what type of consequences there might be, both from extracting them, from processing them, and then from using them, from burning them. It opens a wide array. So we have a system now, a regulatory system, that's used to dealing with conventional oil that we've really dealt with for the last century. That system might not actually safeguard us from everything about these new oils that's different. I fear that there are a lot of people on both sides of this issue. There are those that will tell you it's all the same and we know how to deal with it and it's why are you questioning it. And then there are those that are afraid, so afraid of it that they want to tap them forever in the ground, knowing that the market will certainly bring them to bear. So we do need to learn and revisit how to deal with it. And right now there's a bit of a knowledge vacuum there. What we do know now, this has been the concern since the 70s, that oil would peak. That was always the word. We have peak oil and we will have to deal with alternatives. We'll have to bring alternatives to the market to deal with the demands when you don't have oil. That was what we thought was going to happen in the 70s and 80s and 90s. What's happening now is that oil has peaked, but it's plateaued. So conventional oil is it's pretty much hit its peak globally, and now it's going to be steady to a slight decline over time, over a long time. We're going to have less and less of this old-fashioned oil, the oil that we really know how to use or we've figured out how to use. The biggest concern for climate change is that they're still fossil fuels. They're all hydrocarbons. So all of those wedges, both the plateauing and slightly decreasing conventional oil, that's still CO2 when you burn it. And then all the wedges of these new fossil fuels, they're all CO2. What makes it very confusing though is they're all different types, different amounts of CO2. They're not one feedstock, so they're gonna have all different environmental effects. The good rule of thumb is the heavier an oil is, the more carbon intensive it is, both in terms of its makeup, what's going to come out of it to make it into gasoline and diesel, and in terms of its processing inputs, what you have to do to make it into gasoline and diesel. The father of fracking, Dr. Mitchell, came out and was talking about his own invention, which of course he believes in very strongly. I mean, this is, the real innovation in oil is being driven largely by hydraulic drilling horizontal drilling and fracking. And Dr. Mitchell, in his discovery of the horizontal drilling and fracturing, was saying, when asked, is this something we should celebrate? And he said, we need to proceed with caution. This opens up there are risks and rewards here. And it opens up a paradox of plenty, which is going to be very interesting for the marketplace. It's going to be interesting economically. It's going to be very interesting technologically. It'll be very different environmentally. And so, like any innovation, you have to go in with your eyes wide open.